Hello everyone, welcome to the preview for the game between Manchester United and Newcastle United, a repeat of the final from last year, which has a feeling where it probably won't go the same way given both teams' current forms. And to be completely transparent from my side of this, I'm not too happy about the Carabao Cup, lads. I'm just going to be straight off the bat. We won it last year. I think we're struggling in the league. We're struggling in the Champions League. So in terms of priority, it isn't quite there for me. And I think it's going to be a mega distraction the further we go. Having said that, I still want to win the game. But how are you feeling going into this, Aaron? Obviously, with it being the Carabao's kind of one of them, innit, where it's like probably the lowest rank out of the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League. But is this something you still want to win?
I'm torn really because it's like you want to win a trophy, but like you say, I don't feel like we've got the squad, especially at the minute with injuries, to be in multiple competitions, and then it's like you want the best possible
That's it.
league finish. Um, so if we win it, it's a bonus, and I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't set a team out to go out in a competition, but if we go out, it's one of them.
Yeah. Sam, how are you feeling ahead of this? Obviously, the derby is kind of, I'm not even going to say put a fork in the road because we expected to lose that game. But Newcastle, as we know, very tough team, very team, can cause problems. As pessimistic for that game?
I don't like you. I couldn't give a shit about this game, to be honest with you. Like it's a cup competition that I don't think we got any chance of winning anyway. And I as a United fan, I want to win every game, regardless of what
Yeah.
it is. Europa League, Europa Cup. I want to win every game. But honest to God, if I was the manager, I would just get every fringe and youth player and just play them. And if they get through, fantastic, because then they've earned a spot for the next game. If they don't, then it is what it is, because that's what every other team does. That's what City does. That's what Chelsea. Every other team does it. But United get criticised for it if we did it. But that's what I would do. I'd use it as an opportunity to get a look at players who are not getting opportunities and players who are not getting game time, and then see how they are, see where we're at, and then you might have then something on your hands where you can replace a Rashford with, or you can replace a Bruno with, or something like that, and you give them opportunities going forward. Use the likes of Hannibal, use the likes of Bayindir and etc. Put those players in the spotlight. But with the team I picked, I don't think he's going to do it. But that's how I would handle it. But to be honest, yeah, couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's not a great. We don't have great momentum coming off that derby either. And there was unconvincing wins before that. Sorry, against Sheffield, Copenhagen, and Brentford, where you just like they've won, but there's a lot more. There's more context to them kind of results, and even in the team in general, it's weird because I feel like people still haven't been given a chance, but we've been chopping and changing more than a butcher with OCD. Like it's a bit. I don't know how Bayern still hasn't managed to play yet. Like, what was the point of bringing him in? Do we ever play second choice goalkeepers? It's a bit, find it all a bit mad to me. We have got players coming back. I think Casemiro should be available for this game, so hopefully he brings back some of that form from last season. Kobe Mainu is expected to play a part, which is refreshing. Wan-Bissaka could make an appearance as well. And there was a clip of Ahmad earlier on today on social media on the grass training and stuff, so that could be an option for the right-hand side. This game might be a little bit too early for that, though. But does the fact this being at home convince you any more, Sam? Do you think the fact that it's at Old Trafford? You know, if we're trying to find any positives going into this, is that one?
No, like
No.
you've seen us at home, right? You've seen the games at home.
Yeah.
Like it's not good. It's not good away. It's not good at home. Like last
Mm.
season, we had home form to rely on. And it's basically how we got through the season and
Yeah.
achieved what we did. But this season, that's all gone out the window. We're almost worse at home, if anything, than the away form. Like it seems almost worse. Um,
Yeah.
I just yeah, nothing is going to change for. I don't know about the entire season, but for the foreseeable future, like for the next couple of months, you'll get used to what you're seeing because that is what it's going to be. So I
Mm.
don't think home or away matters. I don't think changing much is going to do too much to the performances or the team and stuff like that. So, like I said, I would use it as opportunities to give players opportunities and give them an opportunity to fight for a spot in the team. because if we play the same team that we've been playing, we're going to lose and we're going to go out. Fan sentiment's going to get worse. More pressure's going to pile on Ten Hag, etc. So if that's going to happen anyway, put some stuff in there that you could use and is going to be useful. The rest of it is, it doesn't matter. Home or away, we're going to be awful, and that's just the way it is.
It's a weird one, isn't it, Aaron? Because last time we played them was obviously in this competition was the final, and we did a job in that game. What do you think we did well in that to get the result against them? Do you think, if you can kind of cast your mind back, if you can even remember the game?
From what I remember, I feel like we just had that next level above them. I think we just showed our quality came through more, obviously, than theirs. But they've only built since last season. They've only come better since last season. So they have all the ingredients to frustrate us because we don't play very well against hardworking and like well set up teams. We know that we struggle against that, and I feel like that they've got the key ingredients. But
they are the kryptonite for that, aren't they?
Exactly. But they've got it where they'll be organised, but they're not just going to park the bus. They'll take the game to us as well. So it is going to be a very tough game. But the only positive I'm hoping is that in the last round, obviously we changed the team up, and that's probably the one convincing win we've had all season against Crystal Palace. So I'm just hoping that, it's kind of a repeat of the last game. And we've done well in the Carabao Cup at home. We've had I don't know how many home draws over the past few years.
I think it's like 12 in a row.
I think this is a 12,
Mad.
And obviously last year we did all right, so we won it. So I just hope that he changes it. My only worry is what Sam said about playing younger players or like refreshing the positions. It's only that they're going to play well, and then in the league they're not going to get picked anyway because he ain't changing it. So it's like, it's got to be a bit demoralising. I'm getting worried on a player's even going to think they're going to break into the team now.
Well, there's lots of reports coming out. I don't know if any of you guys have seen them in the past hour or so about Ten Hag is apparently looking like Ole did in his final season in terms of like body language and getting annoyed with the people in training and things like this. There's stuff about Mount that the board aren't happy that he's not playing. They're giving the number 7 shirt and they're a bit frustrated that he's not getting more minutes. Why push for a player if you're not playing him? Like, there's a lot of conversations there to be had, and I understand why people are frustrated with Ten Hag, but I'm equally frustrated with the board as well because I think they're fucking clueless idiots who don't know what they're doing. But in terms of changes, Sam, what midfield would you like to see? Because we've seen, I don't know how many different.
You're a bit staggering.
Yeah, a bit wacky.
I got what you said.
Am I okay now?
It
came up with an op.
Yeah.
Yeah. What midfield would you like to see? Because we've seen loads of different kind of rotations, haven't we?
I hate to be so pessimistic and nihilistic, but it doesn't matter, does it? Like, it doesn't matter. No, because I think no matter what players you play there, you ain't gonna get a performance because the whole mood around the team and the club itself and the structure that's going on and all the uncertainty and the stadium, the training ground, the ownership, blah blah blah. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter, man. Like, you've seen players come in, like for example Hannibal, and he looks like he gives a shit on the pitch, but when the other 10 players aren't doing anything, he can't win the game by himself. Like, he isn't going to do it. It's the same with anybody or the other player that comes in. Like, say Donny comes in, he can try all his might he wants, he can get on the ball all he wants, but if Rashford can't be arsed and Bruno's throwing his hands up and whinging, he's not going to affect a game, is he? Like, it's just not going to happen. I'd love to see Mainu come in. I'd love to see Hannibal come in. I'd love to see Mount come in. I'd love to see any of those players come in. Players who've not had opportunities and players who should be in the team. I'd love to see any of them get an opportunity, but it does, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you're going to get the same performance out of these players because Rashford's not going to be dropped, Bruno's not going to be dropped, and other players aren't going to be dropped, so you're just going to get the same performance. And then I can't remember who said it, doesn't matter what players we buy and bring to Manchester United and how good they looked, we seem to drag him down and make him worse.
Gary Neville. It was Gary Neville.
Gary Neville. they just seem to get worse when they come here. So it just doesn't really matter. They could be fucking amazing. Like Onana looked absolutely ridiculous at Inter, and now he's just a mistake-filled mess. Højlund was doing well at Atalanta, and he's still, credit to him, fucking trying and looks like our best player. But I give it about 3 months, and he's gonna look like shit as well. So it's just that's how it is at the club at the minute. So I'm
a product.
yeah, I'm sorry if you wanted something positive or you wanted something, but that's the way it is at the minute.
Well, I think the chat are feeling the exact same. Prabhav was saying, I can't watch this team anymore. Sylvenius Charles says this has to be the worst bit of torture one can face, knowing we're trash, yet ensuring we tune in for the next game. #madness. I'm tired, but can help it. Can't help it. Sad times. That's it. Supporting the club, innit? It's kind of like the ups and downs. You have to go through all the trials and tribulations. Shah Sam says we're going to get clapped again. I mean, yeah, it feels like that. I think a youthful team will play better. I've watched the under-23s, and these guys play ball, stringing passes and runs off the ball. The first team struggles because it's a team of individuals. Again, a very smart comment. UTFR's in the chat, big up to yourself, saying, unfortunately, I think we're at the end of yet another cycle, and Ten Hag will get the bullet. I really hope this doesn't happen. Well, you can only add pressure, can't it, with this game coming up? If you lose, you go out the Carabao Cup, then the pressure, that snowball effect starts happening, and there's discussions to be had. In terms of Newcastle, they had a bit of a tricky start to the season. They had a couple of tough fixtures, but they started to find feet now. They've got 7 wins from 14 in all competitions with 3 draws and 4 losses. They score a lot of goals, 31 in 14 games, which is over 2 goals on average. Anthony Gordon, or as Aaron likes to call him, Shirley from Coronation Street, has started to live up to the talent that they thought he could. He looks like a nice signing now. You've got Isaac and Callum Wilson scoring goals for fun. Kieran Trippier, I think, is like second most assists in the league. He's been an unbelievable signing for them. And they have multiple weapons, like Aaron said. They're an intense team. They like to press, and they'll spring on the transition and can really hurt you and expose you. So very, very tricky team to face. It's a good job it's not at St James's Park, because I would absolutely write this fixture off. I would just say we're going to get battered if it's there. I think Old Trafford swings it a tiny bit, and then I mean by like a 5%. On injury for them, Isaac, Jacob Murphy are out, Sven Botman's out, Harvey Barnes is out, and Elliot Anderson is out for them as well. So they don't have a couple of senior figures in their team. What do you like about Newcastle specifically, Sam? Since they've had this takeover, I know there's certain ties to it with Saudi and stuff, but speaking specifically on the pitch and a few bits off the pitch, the way the club's run, what do you like about Newcastle?
They've identified talent that isn't necessarily the sort of superstars that you would sort of imagine when you get that amount of money. Normally clubs go, like you saw when City first got their money, they went mental, didn't they? Buying Robinho and Joe and random players. Adebayor, yeah. So like they were just buying everybody, weren't they? And then they brought in a structure and started getting it right and started finding people like Vincent Kompany and Edison and stuff like that, and David Silva. So they started getting it right. Whereas Newcastle seem to have learned from that mistakes of these other clubs, and they've gone in the right direction. They've got a structure, a recruitment. They hired the guy from Brighton, Dan Ashworth, I think he's called, as a football director. So they've done it the correct way, and then they've identified sort of talent that's just on the verge of becoming something. So you had like the likes of Bruno Guimaraes last season. They've
top time,
yeah. They got Alexander Isaac last season. He didn't quite hit it, but this season seems to have like sort of started to go. Kieran Trippier, very shrewd buy. Like we were umming and ahhing over him, and they got him through the door, and you can see what he does. He's fantastic. Dan Burn was a shrewd buy from Brighton. Botman, I was crying out for United to go for Botman, and the guy is class. Nick Pope, he was underrated at Burnley, wasn't he? He was just like getting clean sheet, and he's basically saving their season. Brought him in. He's been a fantastic goalkeeper. So they've got all these players who are not household names. They're not superstars. A couple of them they've paid quite a lot for. Isaac was like 70 million, I think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit less. I think Tonali and Isaac are both their expensive signings.
Yeah,
I think.
So like they haven't spent massive amounts, which is another good thing. So yeah, the way they go about it is really, really good, and you've seen the results on the pitch. They're playing well. They qualified for Champions League last season, went to a final against us. I think they're only going to get better and they're only going to improve. I don't think Eddie Howe is the manager who's going to win him Premier Leagues and win him Champions
How long
Leagues.
do you think he'll be there?
Maybe another 18 months, 2 seasons at maximum. Yeah, I think he'll be gone, and then they'll bring in top manager. Maybe they'll get De Zerbi, and maybe they'll get someone like that. They'll get somebody to take him to the next level.
De Zerbi could be a shout.
Yeah,
to be fair.
so like they want to go to the next level. They want to win titles. They want to win Champions Leagues. The amount of money they have, they want it. That's what they want to do. So they're going to get somebody to take them to the next level. But at the minute, Eddie Howe's he's working. It's going well. The system, etc. So all credit to him. But yeah, the way they're run, I envy it so much. I wish United had that kind of structure above us.
Because it's very easy to just go and get an Mbappe. Well, it's not easy, but I mean, with the money that they have, it's very easy to just try find whoever the most expensive player is and just bring them in for the sake of it and have that star for the season. But they've really recruited like effectively. That's the most impressive thing for Newcastle for me. And they've gone about the work like professional as well, which United are just the complete opposite of.
Do you know what I like about them? They've not, like in life, in anything, or say like with your job, there's a process to getting to the top, and they've not tried to skip a process or tried to skip the journey. So they went from a relegation team to like they've gone up towards the middle table, and they've made them sort of signings that will get them there. And then I feel like they might do what City did with Mancini. They might win the first trophy, and then they'll level up. So like I think Eddie Howe might take them to like a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, and then you'll see the next step in manager like a I don't know why. I don't know why, but I always think at the minute I don't know. I always see like someone like Unai Emery being like.
I was just about to say Unai then. Yeah. I was just about to say Unai Emery.
He's a good shout.
I really see him being like the next one at Newcastle, maybe to push him along.
Well, doing well with Villa. Like Villa equally looking like they're pushing right up the table at the minute. The signings that they've made.
It's amazing, isn't it? When a club's run well and all the dots are joined up and all the structure is like working as it should, how a club becomes good.
Yeah.
Brighton, Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, like.
Yeah. Well, even Fabrizio Romano's just tweeted saying the Manchester United ownership uncertainty is influencing the performances on the pitch. Is absolute pandemonium going on behind the scenes at Manchester United. Just the last question on Newcastle, and this is for any of you. Do you think they have now taken us over in terms of being a quality team in the league? Is that how you would view it with the investment that they've made? Are they now above us now, do you think?
Nah, I don't think they're above us. They're probably on par. We sit in that. See, I think you've got like obviously City that had a like upper echelon of the league, and then you've got Arsenal and Liverpool probably just below. And then I feel like you've got us, Spurs, Newcastle, Villa are getting towards that. Like maybe in that pool of Brighton, yeah. I wouldn't say Chelsea yet. They're probably just teetering below, but I feel like all like Newcastle, if they lost to, I don't know, say who they're playing next, if they lost to, I don't know, Brighton, it wouldn't be a shock, you know what I mean? Or you wouldn't say, oh, they should have won that game.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all in that same pool now where it's like Europa League, maybe getting fourth place.
Yeah, interesting. Sam, how do you feel about it? You of the similar opinion?
Last season, I would have said yes. This season, I think we've dropped down. I think we're in that level with Chelsea, where Chelsea are right now. That's where we're fighting about. And I think Villa, Newcastle, Brighton are all fighting above us. And I agree with the rest of Aaron's thing. City are like the top thing. And then you got Liverpool, Arsenal, and then Spurs, Brighton, Villa, Newcastle all fighting out for that top 4/Europa League. And we're probably going to end up with Europa Conference, if anything, next season with Chelsea, because they can't seem to string anything together either. And I think we're in a similar boat. We're just inconsistent and don't know what we're doing. And Chelsea seem to be in that same boat. And you thought with Pochettino coming in, they might get it right, but I don't think they have. And I think there's still a lot of worries to come with Chelsea as there is us. So I think we've dropped down out of that level this season.
Yeah. UTFR says we need our back four back. We don't have a solid foundation. Shaw is a huge loss, as is Martinez. I literally mentioned this on the pros and cons earlier on today, which dropped, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But the not having your first choice back line for the majority of games is a fucking massive issue. I don't care what anyone says. Lissandro and Shaw are huge misses in this. When you're having to play Johnny Evans in a Manchester derby, it tells you everything you need to know.
I think Wan-Bissaka's a massive miss as well. I don't think Dalot is that guy. I really don't. Like, I've kind of said it now for about 6 months.
Yesterday, innit? Gvardiol, Bernardo Silva, Grealish just absolutely destroying Dalot on that left-hand side. And he is a target of weakness defensive. I fully believe that. Look, I want to do a combined 11, lads, and see who we get in there in terms of players that are available, okay? So this is going to be very interesting. I want to see who gets in where. Sam's shaking his head. Goalkeeper. Who goes in there?
Pope.
Okay. Right back.
Trippier.
It's got to be Trippier, yeah. Not even a
Don't
question.
even need to ask that.
Centre backs.
Is Botman injured?
Yes, Botman's injured at the moment.
I would have put him in if he was.
You got injured. Fabian Schär, Lascelles.
I was just about to say I'd probably take Fabian Schär over Lindelof, Maguire, Evans.
Would you have Schär and Maguire? Would that be a fair shot?
I'd have Schär and Varane.
I was going to say Varane's officially fit now, isn't he? So.
Yeah, well, whatever that means. Varane. Left back. Got to be there, left back, hasn't it? Dan Burn.
Yeah, Dan Burn.
Dan Burn at left back.
I would have gone Reguilon, but
he looked fucking fantastic against PSG. Dan Burn, by the way, looked fucking incredible.
Crazy, innit?
Like absolutely smashed PSG.
Yeah, I think from what I saw in Reguilon the first 3 games, he's been decent, but the level, I think, consistency over the past, I don't know, while, I think Dan Burn has done better for it, or been more impactful for Newcastle, let's just say. Only got a small sample of Reguilon. I don't think
we've seen enough of Reguilon to give him the shout.
Yeah. Right, midfielders, obviously Tonali isn't available. We've got Casemiro back in there. You've got Guimaraes, Longstaff, Joe Linton. Anyone else I'm missing? Willock, who could play there as well. How would you piece that midfield?
I'd put Joe Linton in there because I think he's been quality this season.
I was going to say Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro. I would probably say because Tonali's suspended, isn't he?
A full Brazilian midfield, that is. No Bruno Fernandes in there.
Definitely not.
No?
Off this form, nah.
Okay. Casemiro, Joe Linton, Guimaraes.
You could there's maybe an argument for Amrabat, but compared to Guimaraes and Joe Linton, don't think so.
He looks a little bit slow on Rabat for me.
I think he's not caught. He's not caught up with the speed of the game yet, I think.
Yeah, maybe he will. He might get there. Yeah. Right, what about the forward line then? Because I don't think any of our... Right, Anthony's not getting in there, is there? He's been fucking horrendous.
Has to be Almiron.
Almiron, yeah.
I can't believe how good him and Joe Winton have been, since...
It's ridiculous,
since
isn't it?
Eddie Howe.
Almiron, I think Almiron gets in. He's just been absolutely destroying teams.
You could take your pick out the strikers, Isaac or Callum Wilson, both been fantastic this season.
Well,
I love Højlund.
Isaac's injured, didn't he?
Oh shit, yeah. So I'd Wilson there.
Yeah, Wilson.
100%.
Yeah. If Isaac was fit though, I would have put.
Yeah, I would have put Isaac. Yeah.
I like Isaac, really like him.
Yeah, I do.
And then left wing, do you go with Shirley or do you go with Marcus or do you go with Garnacho?
No, don't even say Marcus.
If you go,
I'm just giving the options.
If you go on form, it has to be Gordon, doesn't it?
Shirley is on the left. Okay, so that was the quickest combined 11 we've ever done and agreed on most of it. So Nick Pope, Trippier, Schär, Varane, Burn, Casemiro, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Almiron, Wilson and Gordon. 2 United players.
I was going to say, is that the least United players we've ever had in a combined 11?
Well, we didn't even do one for City in the last preview because no players are getting it.
Do you know what? I'm annoyed we've put Casemiro in there as well, to be honest with you.
Why? Who would you have replaced?
Any Newcastle, because I think Casemiro's been awful this season. I think he's been terrible. He's had one good game.
He's been a victim of the way we play, though.
That's part of it. But then when he's individual mistakes he's done, where he's giving the ball away sloppily or he's diving into tackles, that's on him. That's not the system.
But don't forget, he was doing that last season. But I feel like because we were playing well and the system was better, I feel like now it's highlighted more because a lot of the time he looks out of position because he's getting dragged because he's the only midfielder.
Yeah, when you go from Real Madrid to screening a defence and having Modric and Kroos in front of you for years, to then go to United where it's a bit of an unsettled team in the second season, and you've got McTominay and Eriksen, Biscuit Legs Eriksen next to you. It's like, What the fuck are you supposed to do? Right, let's do some quick fire questions, lads. Fun. Wednesday night, Manchester United versus Newcastle in the Carabao Cup at Old Trafford. Will United concede?
Are you asking that question?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
I don't even want to dignify it with a response. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
Okay.
so obvious that we're going to concede. Yeah. It's so obvious.
Will Kobbie Mainoo start?
Yeah, I think he does.
Who will score first?
Newcastle.
Us.
Will there be a penalty?
No.
No.
Who was your prediction for man of the match for United?
United. Onana.
Casemiro.
Okay, cool. I agree. I think Casemiro might have a good game tomorrow. Predicted 11s. Can we jump into that?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Let's get it up. There we go. And then Nick, talk through yours first.
Yeah, this is a bit of a minefield, isn't it? To be honest, because it's weird with Ten Hag. He's so stubborn. He just doesn't rotate certain players. So I think Onana goes in there again. I don't think Wan-Bissaka is going to be able to play a full 90, so maybe Dalot comes back in. Varane and Maguire together. Reguilon at left back. Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno, also known as Camera Brew. I think in the midfield. Mason Mount on the right-hand side. Martial up top because he keeps resting Højlund because he's absolutely terrified of him picking up an injury and having to play Martial, who walks everywhere. And then I think Garnacho on the left as well, so that's what I've gone with. Yeah,
nice.
But it's one of them games, and it's just like, you don't know. You really don't know. It's hard to guess.
Aaron?
I went for, was it Bayindir in there?
Yeah.
Dalot on the right back, sorry. And then I went for Varane, Lindelof.
You went for Maguire.
Hey.
Maguire?
Barry.
I forgot. And then I think Reguilon left back.
Yeah.
And then midfield of Casemiro, Amrabat and Mount. Because it's given me faith that Bruno and I think Rashford were dropped in the last round of the Cup. That Bruno definitely was. And then a front three of Garnacho on the left, Martial in the middle, and Anthony on the right.
Interesting. Sam, what have you gone with? Any different?
I've gone with quite different. So I've got Onana keeps his place, Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Reguilon, because I think that's the best functioning defence we have available to us. Casemiro comes back in. I think Mainoo gets his first start because I think this would be a good game to chuck him in. Bruno plays because he's not going to drop him. He just doesn't drop him. Anthony comes back in. He didn't play against City, so I think he comes back in. Martial up top because, like you said, I think Højlund needs resting, so I think he'll put Martial, and I think Rashford keeps his place as well because he said that lined in the press conference that he's just going to keep playing Rashford into form. So I just don't think I think Rashford.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
pretty much. It was like he said. It wasn't, I'm going to keep playing into form, but it was something along the lines of that, basically, what you could take from it.
I think Rashford could walk around and do nothing and still get picked. I just don't think he's ever going to get dropped while he's fit. So
that's fair. So you think that's a fourth game in a row where Mason Mount doesn't start?
Yeah.
Wow. That'd be,
something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on. He's paid 60-odd million for this guy. Given the number 7 shirt, he was integral to his plans, and he just seems to have abandoned it completely and just gone, I can't do it, and it's not working, or whatever it is. He's just decided against it completely. So I just don't see him coming in unless we have an injury to like Bruno, or we have an injury to someone else where he can fit in. But yeah.
I really don't know what's happening with Ten Hag, this season. Like, I'm not blaming him. I'm not putting a whole blame on him, man, because it's the same players that have let us down constantly. But even he doesn't seem to have the same conviction like he did last year. Like when he dropped Rashford that time,
as well.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. His choices in game aren't. They
the
don't fill you
one
with confidence.
yesterday
That was a shocker. That.
What are you doing? what are you doing? Like, as soon as he put Eriksen there, you're like, or McTominay, they can't play there. We've tried this experiment. It's like you rewind, a year. That game, at Brentford, I think, where Eriksen was playing Eriksen was playing as a six. You're
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, man, get him out of that area because he has not got the legs for it. Simple as that. But every time he speaks about Eriksen, he speaks about football, and I understand it because he's much more composed on the ball. He can play through the lines, but physically, he can't. He ain't the answer.
You need what you like. Obviously, we're not getting Frankie de Jong, but you need that player who's press resistant,
Desperate.
has got physicality, and can play passes and control the midfield. Eriksen's only got half of those stats. He can control the midfield, he can pass the ball, and he's great vision, but defensively and physicality wise, just hasn't got it.
It was the same problem we had for Juan Mata, and that's why he never really fit into the team, because he didn't have the legs or the physicality.
Look at the talent of Foden and Bernardo Silva and these kind of guys in City's team. The work they do off the ball as well is equally as impressive.
Bellingham is the perfect midfield. Goal scorer, great going forward, but physical specimen.
Physical.
Will bully players. It's great on the ball, great off out possession and stuff. That's the kind of player you need. Obviously, we're not going to get Bellingham, but you need that sort of profile in that midfield.
Yeah.
That's why I can't understand why we never pushed for Declan Rice in the summer. That still baffles me why we never even went for that.
Especially when you look at the impact he's had on Arsenal.
But he's like the perfect what we needed, the mould of the player that we needed.
Yeah, I agree. What could have been if we actually got the targets we went for instead of fucking option C or whatever. Score predictions, lads, please, Aaron. What are you going with?
1-0 United, a scruffy 1-0.
Yeah. Sam?
2-0 to Newcastle.
Oh, I'll go 1-1, and I think it's gonna be a replay at St James's Park, and then we go.
I'm only being positive because I'm going.
Yeah, well, mate, I hope it is.
Speaking it into existence.
Yeah, I hope it is good for you, mate. But yeah, you know what United are like at the moment. Just, can't really hope on anything, can you? What we're seeing in the chat, people, let us know your score predictions. Please leave a like on the video if you haven't done already as well. Just the last couple of minutes, lads. I wanted to ask you about the Ballon d'Or because obviously it's going on as we speak right now. There's already been some that's been announced. Apparently, Messi's favourite to win it. There's a lot of stuff going about that. What are your thoughts on that? Aaron's shaking your head. I'll go to you first.
Bullshit.
Who should win it, in your opinion?
Not Messi. Don't know. I mean, you could pick probably like 3 of them from the City's team. Obviously, the treble winners, as much as it kills me. I don't know.
Probably Haaland. It's got to be for me. And sorry to think about Erling Haaland, man. Like what?
That's
what
I mean.
More can you do in a
De Bruyne,
season?
Rodri, they all could have won it. You can't give it to a guy playing in MLS. I'm sorry, right?
Crazy, innit?
You can't.
Madness, utter madness.
Sorry,
I thought you were going.
Nah, I can't think of anyone else. But even Mbappe, you know what I mean? It's like it's a bit more credible than giving it to a guy that's playing in MLS, and his team didn't even make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, didn't he go from 15th to 14th?
Yeah.
I think. Since he signed. It's like not that much of an impact.
They had Phil Neville as manager.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sam, any kind of opinions on the Ballon d'Or?
It's a glorified popularity contest, isn't it? At this point, it's not judged on football or like sort of talent in the face of adversity or achievement or anything like that. It's just a popularity contest. That's why it went Ronaldo, Messi back and forth for like so many years. There was a year where Lewandowski should have undoubtedly won it. Yeah. Didn't get it.
Ribery as well.
Ribery should have it doesn't mean anything. It's a glorified popularity ceremony where all the footballers can get dressed up and talk about how great they are. Like, it doesn't mean it. I think it's lost some of the prestige that it had a few years ago. I'm still bitter about Beckham not winning it in 1999. He should have won it then. Like, it's
and you had
criminal.
Nedved and Henry there as well. Like, there's been a few of them where you're like, I'm not too sure about that.
I don't take it too seriously. So if Messi wins it, Messi wins it. It is what it is.
I just don't get how a guy can go to his team and in the first season you smash the Premier League record, you win the treble, and you don't win the Ballon d'Or. How on earth is that fucking possible?
He's not gonna win it. Anyone who is not Messi or Ronaldo ain't gonna win it until they retire. They have to retire before, like, because Lewandowski's not won it and he should have. Loads of people
Saying that,
until they retire.
Modric and Benzema are the only ones that broke the.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And that's you know what I mean. Like it's just, I think there's a slight European bias as well. Like I can't remember the last Premier League player to win it. It's
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been Ronaldo in 08, innit? Yeah.
So I know. It seems to be a bit European bias. Like they just seem to ignore the Premier League for some reason, and I don't.
Nah, they've done it this year, man. They give it an MLS player. They're expanding.
No, they're expanding.
I know, yeah. They're reaching out into the thing.
Yeah. There's going to be a Saudi player. It's going to be a Saudi player next year, isn't it?
Ronaldo next year.
Yeah, Ronaldo next year. Saudi.
Yeah. I think the highest placed United player, I think it was Onana actually. It was like 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's his Inter form, not even his United form.
I know, yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, I think Messi's going to win it. Unfortunately, I don't think he deserves it, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, that is the end of the preview. Make sure, like I said, if you can, leave a like on the video for us. Check the pros and cons out, which we dropped earlier on today, about the Manchester derby. A lot of negatives in that, which is I go into depth on the style of play and identity and things like that. So it's interesting. Tomorrow, what day are we on? Tuesday. There's going to be a new show for you guys. On Wednesday, obviously, we'll have the pre-match build-up and the review after the game, and then loads more content for you. So as always, turn on that notification bell. Drop us a follow on socials, which are on the right-hand side of your screen. And me, Aaron, and Sam will see you guys in the next one. Peace. United.
We want Blaze Out, and we want Blaze Out. We want Blaze Out, and we want Blaze Out. We want Blaze Out, and we want Blaze Out.